It's the toughest decision an officer has to make, whether or not to use force on a suspect. It can happen at any moment, and in this room, it does.
Put your hands up, turn around.
This is the Force Simulator Room, a sophisticated computer system in which Pasadena's officers learn when to use force and when not to.
This allows us to give officers who come in here and train different scenarios, and through the scenarios they have to react accordingly. Each scenario has different force options that the officer has to choose which is right or which, and we're able to debrief afterwards.
The scenarios all are based on real-life situations Pasadena officers encounter.
FireArm's training team. Everyday scenarios such as encountering a transient at the park, encountering a person at the train station, or a person who's been arrested for shoplifting. You name it, this program has it.
We're here to help her out, man. Yeah, we're here to help.
Officers talk to the screen as they talk to a subject in real life, and the trainer can control how the subject reacts.
I can control the subjects, whether I want them to comply or whether I want them to, certain scenarios, attack the officer. It just depends really on the scenario, and the officer has to respond accordingly.
Hey, partner, I got a shotgun right here.
Here, an officer spots a shotgun in a subject's garage. The trainer can make that subject comply with the officer's orders or dive for the weapon.
There's several different weapons that the officers can use. We like to match, each officer here at the department uses different weapons or is assigned a different weapon of their choosing. This system allows us to use each and every weapon, such as Glocks or SIGs or 1911s, even rifles, shotguns, tasers. We're able to use them all through this system.
If an officer decides to fire, the simulator keeps track of every shot fired and whether it hits the subject. And the trainer will ask the officer to justify the force used.
That's the reason for this room, is we want officers to experience and to learn from their mistakes, because we all make mistakes, we're only human. So we're able to debrief each and every scenario afterwards, and we do on a regular basis.
And to make things as real as possible, the subjects on the screen can shoot back.
We have a air gun. It shoots airsoft pellets, and I can control it from the control module here to my right. We have barricades set up in here, and if the subject on the screen is shooting at the officers and the officer's not taking appropriate cover, I can aim the air gun at the officers and shoot airsoft pellets at the officer.
Not enough to injure an officer, but definitely enough to get their attention.
It's pretty painful. Leaves a mark.
It may look like a video game, but what happens in this room happens in real life.
For firearms here at the Pasadena Police Department, it really is cognitive based. The assumption and the expectation is that each officer, when they draw their firearm, will make an assessment as to whether or not the firearm needs to be used, whether rounds need to be discharged or it needs to be used as an intimidation tool, but not some mindless, robotic, just take the gun out of the holster for no purpose.
The officers who train here say they're better prepared when they leave this room than when they enter. And that makes them more prepared for any scenario they might face.